I love storytelling. I love all kinds of storytelling. I love music. I love cinema. I love television. I love books. I love stories. I think stories connect us in ways that we otherwise can't be connected. And music for me has always been a very deep part of my life. When I was born, literally popped out of my mother, the midwife said, she's going to be a singer about me. Don't know if she was prophetic in some way, but the midwife had a clue because I am a singer. I ended up, I just came out with such large capacity lungs. I think that's why she said it. I was a very loud child. I don't know if anybody could have figured that out. But I was a very loud child and I loved to sing. I loved to kind of express myself in song and dance wherever I went. And I trained as a singer for 9 years. I trained in classical piano, even tenor saxophone. And in England, if any of you are familiar, I got my grade 8s in all three of those things, piano, voice, and tenor saxophone. I don't actually play the saxophone much anymore, but I'm going to change that. And one day, maybe I'll do a special video where I play my saxophone. Anyway, music has always been a big part of my life. I've been playing live in churches, in concerts, in all sorts since I was 3. Continued all the way through my adult life and finally had an idea for an album. Never done an album before. I'd worked with a few producers. I never really fit in the music industry. I'm not much of a music industry person. I wouldn't do what they wanted. I'm just not that kind of person. I'm not. I just love the kind of music I make. And I took my passion for music and my passion for classical playing and singing that I can do. And I took those two things and melded them into a genre I'd never heard of before that I kind of made up for myself because I didn't know anyone that was doing it. And I've kind of called it classical soul. I grew up on soul music, and soul music for me is the best kind of storytelling. It just is when it comes to music. There you're going to find some stories. I know country music is really great storytelling too, but it's not a musical genre I'm going to listen to very much. Anyway, I wrote this album with my gorgeous friend, Andrea Ramanda, brilliant songwriter, look her up. She and I are both mums. She's been a songwriter since she was about 19 and has worked on some incredible songs. And I am so grateful for her wisdom and insight and melodies and understanding the need for certain structures around certain songs. And we started writing these songs and we started writing an album for mothers specifically who are on a journey. And I made it a 12-track album that's a storybook. It's from conception through to finishing. Let's have a baby through all the craziness of having little kids and all the craziness of what happens to your identity when you're a mother and through all the stuff that happens in your relationships and then coming to the realization that you're extraordinary because you built these humans with your own body and that you raised them with your own heart and all the things I've picked up along the way. And I wanted to tell my own story because I'm a believer in not telling people what to do when it comes to their own kids. I think that's rude. I'm not their mother. I'm not your children's mother. You are. I'm not their parent. So I think telling people how to parent their children is not very helpful. But I do think sharing our stories is. So I made this album. I told Andrea, she said to me one day, I didn't know you could sing. Do you want to write any music? I went, yes, I want to make the storybook album. I want to make it with 12 songs and it's to help mothers feel seen and loved and encouraged and heard by telling my own story through motherhood. And I want to make sure that I'm not telling people what to do, but I want to just add some of the wisdom that I've learned over the years and maybe it will help some people. She was like, all right, let's do it. And then COVID hit and we had all this time to write an album. It was great. So, COVID had a myriad of downsides, but there were certain things that you could do that would be really hard otherwise. And we were just kind of in each other's bubbles. And we sat for hours discussing motherhood. And the album is called Mother, but there's parentheses, brackets around the M. So it's the idea of feeling other. the idea of feeling slightly on the outside of what's going on. And so I wrote it for everyone that's a mother and everyone that wants to be a mother. And then with the album having been launched, I've done some live events around it. I want to do more of those. I realized that there's explanations needed because the song lyrics talk about a certain amount. The musicality, the production talks about a certain amount and shares the story. Big shout out to Darren Johnson, who produced every single track. Oh my gosh, the man is a musical genius. Again, look him up if you don't know who he is. Deron, Darren Johnson. Brilliant. He produced every single track. He's playing piano on many of the tracks. I'm playing piano on some of the tracks. And a guy called Ben Cherney, shout out to Ben Cherney, arranged all of the orchestrations for the tracks and also played piano on some of them. Piano is heavily featured. And to all the incredible musicians that came along to make this album. Everything is live. Everything is real. And we found some of the best in the world. Literally, friends of Darren's, friends of Andrew's, friends of Ben's, friends of mine, people who could come along and really believe in this project. So grateful. When you listen to the music, I really hope you enjoy the musicality of it, the classical soul of it. But the otherness of mothering, it has become more and more stark, I think. I think it's always been with us, but we've become more aware of it in recent years with our lack of connectivity and lack of community often where we live. I live in LA. Being a mom in LA is very discombobulating. I love that word. You can feel like you're in the middle of something very important. But as soon as you go outside, people are like, oh, you're a mom? How many children do you have? I'm like, I have 4. You have 4? What? Why? Rather than, oh my gosh, how wonderful. Look at your lovely children. You have 4 children. That's normal. And then I'll go to the Midwest and people are like, oh, how cute. You have 4. I have 17. It's very different. I feel like there's a lot more community in certain parts of the country, in certain parts of the world, and a lack of community elsewhere. And that really affects the way you see yourself. You feel a little bit crazy sometimes. And even if you're in the middle of an amazing community of mothers, you can feel a little bit different sometimes. Because maybe you're not doing things the way they are. And maybe you need to do things your way. Maybe you just need a little bit of advice, a little bit of wisdom, and a little bit of, I see you. So I'm hoping that the album does that, and the explanations behind the lyrics and the production and the story, the literal stories of my own life and my own family's life in these videos will be something that will help everybody. I would love that. I would really love that. And I want you guys to watch the videos. I want you to comment on them. I want you to ask difficult questions. And I want to make more videos. I want to make more content for people who are hungry to be the best mums they can be personally, not because somebody's telling them what to do, but because they are discovering who they are. I think that your biggest successes will only be fueled by an incredibly strong sense of identity. If you have a struggle with your identity, if you struggle with, I'm just a mum, then we need to chat. We need to go through that, because if you can figure out who you are in this new period of your life, if you can understand that you are a standalone individual with hopes and dreams and ambitions, and that whatever you are sowing into your children is an unbelievable investment that they will go on to reap the rewards of as they grow. When they've left you, you're still you, and you still have so much to offer the world. And that's what this album is for, is like, I long for mothers to know how powerful they are. I long for mothers to understand how beautiful they are. I long for us to appreciate the bodies we've been given, the lives we have, the opportunities we have now that we've learned all these incredible skills because we're mums. I'm a CEO of my home. I run things I keep everything going. That's like a paid position out there in the world. Yeah. We don't get paid. We get paid in love and hugs. But I want you to stop undervaluing yourself. So I want you to watch these videos. I want you to listen to the album. And I want you to know who you are. So, that's why we're doing it. I really hope you enjoy.